Hello lads, welcome back to Wednesday Patreon Q&A. First question of the day is from my man, Liam. Now, big shout out to Liam. As you can see on this picture, he is highly testosteronous. And he asks, what do you wish you knew when you first started lifting? The short answer is, I wish I knew how to properly squat, deadlift, bench press and military press. And that is also my main advice to many of you. So what you should do is go to a gym, preferably a powerlifting gym, get a personal trainer there and get 3 or 4 private sessions where he goes through the motion and teaches you how to do it properly. So you know from the beginning, and then you just train at getting a good technique. When the technique is good enough, then you can start your ascent upwards. Just adding weight, adhering to a progression schedule. Now for me, I was extremely fortunate in that I had my glorious brother, massive shout out, who wrote me a schedule when I first started lifting. He made a handwritten note for me on a paper with the whole schedule, so I utilized that, had it in my pocket the entire time. So yeah, absolutely glorious. And that is obviously something I recommend as well, to have a progression plan going forward, so you just don't go into the gym and do whatever you feel like. So to answer the question, I wish I knew how to deadlift, squat, bench press, overhead press, and from the beginning, because I've spent so much time just tweaking my bench press technique, tweaking my deadlift technique or squat technique. And obviously you can't expect to nail the technique on a few private sessions or whatever, but it can be a start at least. So I wish I had done that. And now obviously I can't offer such a service now because I'm always at different places, etc. But in the future, maybe it would be a fun thing to do some private training in the flesh, so to speak. But until then, find some sort of local powerlifting gym and ask someone who has good numbers and good mass to show you, because the personal trainers at commercial gyms, they are usually in need of a personal trainer themselves, and they have some sort of certificate from a week-long education, and then they get their diploma saying that they've completed the course. But for me, I trust the guys who've been putting in the intensity and the pressure over a long period of time, who has perfected their technique and who has the mass and strength to show for it. So that is my main recommendation. If you're new in the gym, learn the basic heavy compound movements as soon as possible and as well as possible. And then the next step is adhere to a plan of progression, so you know exactly what to do in the gym. So you just don't do whatever you feel like for the day, because if you don't know that you're progressing, you can't know that the body is being forced to getting juicier. So that is the answer to that very good question. Now the second question is, do you have any lifting advice for plateauing? Carbohydrates is your friend when it comes to breaking stalls. So just view carbohydrates as fuel for the body, just as faith is fuel for the soul. As in my favorite quote. So utilize the carbohydrates as a means to increase the power of your body. Basically, you load up with ammunition in your weapons, so you can become more powerful. So view carbohydrates that way. So if you want to get massive, juicy, don't go with this low carb thing. It's not good, in my humble view at least. I view carbohydrates as a primary source to break stalls, to ensure your progression in the gym, especially in the pushing exercises. So if we're talking about the bench press or the military press, add some extra carbohydrates. Long story short, carbohydrates is your way to break stalls. Then there was obviously some other glorious questions, which I aim to answer at a later time. One was in regards to my thoughts on Julius Evola. I've talked a bit about him before, but I'll do a separate video on what I like with him and what I don't like with him at a separate stage. Now, lastly, if you do appreciate my videos, if you do appreciate this particular channel, I would very much indeed appreciate it if you sign up to become a Patreon in the first link in the description. And the point is to give 1 septim a month from a lot of different guys. That is the point of these kind of services. So that would be awesome indeed. And then obviously if I don't answer your question in the Wednesday Q&A, it's usually because I get an idea for a coming video, or because I need to think more about it. So to conclude the questions for this video: learn the basic compound movements and break stalls with carbohydrates. XXO, boom.